Hello, welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about an advanced drill for you to try out, which will do a lot of things, but mainly help you to time and delay your release. One of the most difficult things is to get a feeling for how your arms and hands should be working through the ball, and especially the trail arm. When you're hitting at the golf ball, which a lot of people tend to do, what's happening is you're straightening the trail arm far too early. And this is only a thing that beginners do. Even good players can find themselves releasing the club too early and getting too much of a hit at the ball rather than hitting through the ball. So there's a drill that you'll actually see a lot of tour players doing, where they're actually basically just swinging the club with one arm. And in the case of the trail arm, I find that the best way to actually do this is with a pitching wedge or a sand wedge, and just hit some little pitches out there to get a kind of a feeling of how the trail arm should be releasing. The first thing to understand is obviously the trail arm will release too early if your body doesn't turn. So you've got to be getting a hip turn and a shoulder turn. And it's also very important that the trail shoulder is turning deep enough in order to keep your lower arm on plane. And what you're really looking to do when you're making these small shots with one arm is to keep the trail elbow bent through impact and allow it only to straighten after you've actually made contact with the golf ball. And that basically will actually get you that kind of feeling of the wrist releasing through the ball, but not so much the elbow releasing and straightening through impact. And by doing that, you'll start to get a feeling for the way that the trail arm should be working through impact. All the drills and exercises that I've given you are built around one basic idea, is to try and convert what you understand you should be doing into feeling, which is body language. And it's your body language which is actually controlling your swing. When I hit a golf ball, I'm basically giving the movement over to my body and saying, come on, carry it out. And if I can get a feeling before the shot of what I want to do, then I can basically go onto the ball with an awful lot more trust that if I'm there with some kind of digital order for my body to get the shoulder down or turn the hips or anything of that nature. And this really does need practice, as you can imagine. That's why I'm basically talking about this as an advanced drill. Getting your body out of the way in time is the first thing, and then keep getting your trail shoulder down deep enough. You want to have the feeling of this trail elbow bent and the lower arm almost from the back camera looking like an extension of the shaft as you come through the ball. By doing that, you're actually able to get the club under a lot of control, the feeling of kind of almost pushing or pulling the club through the ball. Very difficult to say exactly what the feeling is, and it will probably vary from person to person. If you turn high enough through the ball, you'll actually have the feeling of pulling the club down, and as you get to ball height and the wrist really extends, you'll have the feeling of almost pushing it through. But because you're kind of on plane with it, you should be able to get through the ball quite easily. And there I caught the ground a little bit before the ball, and this was exactly the problem that we're trying to avoid. This kind of straightening the arm too early will actually lead to exactly what we're trying to avoid. And that's really what you're practicing, trying to get lots of room through the ball, get the arm straightening through the ball, but not being straight at impact. A lot of people just have this feeling of wanting to straighten out the trail arm to the golf ball, and you've got to have more of a feeling of it coming round and straightening through the ball. The further you get the right or trail shoulder down, it's a perfect example of what you don't want to do, the easier it's going to be to get your trail arm extending through the golf ball. And a great feeling for what you should be doing when you put both hands on it. And I would even say then, once you've actually got that feeling, get yourself a club in your hand and make a few shots with both arms and see if you can't get that same kind of usually deep feeling with your trail shoulder, that kind of late extension with your trail arm, and try and get that as close as possible to the feeling you had when you were hitting it just one-handed. Great little exercise if you've got nothing better to do, and it really does help you to get a feeling for what your trail arm's doing through impact and timing your release. If you liked it as ever, please hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet. The little bell will give you notifications the next time I post a video. A big thank you to all my patrons. You know who you are. Thank you very much for supporting the channel. If you would like to support the channel, you can do that on Patreon. I'll leave a link below. That helps me to get back here a little bit more often. Until the next time, all the best. Goodbye.